Trauma. Have you ever experienced traumatic or traumatizing events in your life? For sure, I would say, especially in your childhood. It might also be that because of past lives or because of traumas or traumata from past lives, these are resurfacing right now. You either have, first of all, hello and welcome to this video. My name is Matthias and I help my viewers achieve their full potential. Traumata. Traumata comes from the Greek, and trauma means wound, without specifying what kind of wound that is. In psychology, it differentiates between soul wound, mental wound, emotional wound, and so on. But what is a wound? What is a trauma? I'm gonna explain that in that video. I hope you enjoy and you learn many new things and get a lot of value from what I'm telling you here. So the trauma. There are different kinds of trauma: emotional trauma, mental trauma. But actually, it's energy stuck to you or in your system. These traumata can come from different sources. As already mentioned, these traumata can come from past lives. As you have a soul which contains all your information from all past lives, you also carry traumata. Traumata can also come from family traumata, either from the past, so it is generational, so you inherited these traumata, or from this life. Another kind of trauma is, well, you have personal traumata. You experienced personal trauma or several traumata, but then you also have the group traumata, as mentioned, for example, family traumata, or nationwide, citywide, community-wide traumata. For instance, the trauma of the indigenous people in the USA, in the Southern and Central Americas, caused by the Hispanics going rampage there, and the other people going rampage in the USA, what is now the USA. Black people, usually I say black people, I don't know what is the politically correct, if I should refer to this to simplify, to understand what I'm talking about, with the trauma of the white supremacy. Then other trauma can be generational, which usually are which is the World War, for instance, World War I, World War II, and well, if we are in World War III, that's something. And this caused immense trauma to a whole generation or several generations. And the trauma or the traumata of wars, they get inherited, and the second generation after the war generation has to relive these traumata. So currently, as my generation, Generation Y, is in this situation, we are reliving this trauma of the Second World War, And well, you have nationwide and global-wide trauma. So it depends. How do you see this current situation with the pandemic? Are you traumatized by it? I mean, of course, there are crises happening and many life-changing events. I'm not speaking negatively about these, but how do you react to that? Or how do you decide to act or to react to these events? Trauma. What is it exactly from an energetical point? So there is a situation happening to you, to a group, however, and you, based on your beliefs, on your stories, on your thoughts, you react in an emotional way, usually. So a trauma, can be a very, very strong emotional reaction, which then this energy gets stuck to your system. About emotions, I talked in another YouTube video, one of my previous ones. So this energy gets stuck in your system and you pass it on to your further generations, predecessors. So it can also be several emotions, negative emotions, happening at once. So you have sadness, anger, fury, then anger again, and so on, which come at once, and which then is one conglomerate of, or an accumulation of different energies, of different emotional qualities, which get stuck to your system. The same thing, like as an example now, is the 9/11. About this, well, however, what are the theories behind? But generally it is being said that it was a traumatizing event. Planned, but yes. The trauma behind, I mean, you have a group of people which creates an energetic field. And this energetic field, which is the morphogenetic field, this energy, these emotions get spread very quickly, very, very quickly. So there was a trauma. I mean, there were for sure emotions included, like trauma, like anger, frustration, like overwhelm, like helplessness, worthlessness, and so on and so on. You can imagine, you name it. So a very important place where trauma consistently happens currently is, for instance, let's say it's Middle East, or well, the Oriental countries like Syria and so on, where there is constantly war since over 5 years, and also Yemen, where Saudi Arabia, for instance, is letting the population of Yemen starve without giving a lot of information to the media. And most probably me saying that is not really, they don't take it very much with love. So I say that trauma. So you traumatize. An important asset to prevent traumata, or generally negative emotions, is your mindset. How do you take it? How do you manage this situation? Or how do you manage the situation afterwards? It is very important to do something against it, or to release this trauma, be it with a professional therapist, with a healer, and so on and so on. But it's highly important. Otherwise, this traumatic experience, this energy stored in your system, will attract more and more of such situations, which makes your life worse and worse. What's the perspective behind this? What's the perspective behind, how do you look at it afterwards, too? For me, for instance, traumatic experiences I had, my childhood, well, I cannot remember it, except for small bits and parts of it, due to the fact that I was sexually abused, and there was emotional abuse, abandonment, and such things, a father figure, and so on. So it made my life quite difficult. But now here I am standing and talking about spirituality, because it led me into diving deep, very deep into spirituality. So I had my enlightenment, I had my 2 awakenings, and yes, so it happened for a reason. And of course, as hard as it is, it changes you and it makes you change. Currently, what humanity is going through, for instance, you have also ancient traumas or traumata running, resurfacing currently, that was 2020 about, or is 2020 about. We have a huge trauma which was coming back. It was the trauma from us, human, separating from the divine, we becoming matter, turning spirit to matter. The birth process can be very traumatizing. Traumatizing can be the time before you being conceived or being born, because you look forward, your higher self, your soul knows what's going to happen, so you're anxious about it, which can be traumatizing because you come down to earth. So traumata, they happen for a reason, and when you look at it from a higher perspective, usually it is afterwards or later on in your life. Depends how you handle the situation, that it makes sense for a reason. But do you focus on the negative aspects of it? Do you focus on the positive aspects of it? I can say, okay, someone is passing away, your family member is passing away. Are you focusing on the loss? Because it means actually you don't need this person anymore in your life, in your reality. And are you happy for this person to pass away, as this person was maybe suffering in this physical body, in this physical vehicle? So it goes back to spirit, unconditional love. You decide. You have the power to decide. You always have the power to decide. You're the master of your mind. You need to know how to master your mind. It's highly important. What else can I say about trauma? Well, traumata, currently we are also going through many other traumata, for instance, those that have experienced it, the sinking of Lemuria, Atlantis, was something that came up this year. And much more, very, very deep, very in the archetypal, on the archetypal level. So, yes. I'd say for this video, this is enough talking about trauma. I hope you learned new things, you remember these things, and it makes sense, and you got value out of it. If so, please like and share this video, comment, ask questions. I'm open for discussion and your opinion. What do you think about this? Did you experience trauma? And if so, I offer, as a healer, as a master healer, as a coach, I offer free trauma healing sessions. The first one you have with me is for free. It's valued on 200 euros. So if you feel the need for a healing session due to trauma, I'm gladly here to support you. And if you would like to support me in some way in this cause to make the world a better place through healing trauma, thank you very much. I put the link down below in the description box. And you're not alone on this journey. People are here. Healers usually went through traumatic experiences. To be here, to stand the ground and to offer the shoulder, like I do. Please, I offer you my hand. Will you accept it? So, yeah. And if you feel like someone else could need that healing, please share this video. I'm happy to help. So, for now, enough being said. I wish you a very good time. You are important. You are great. You are a great being. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your attention. And hope to see you in next videos. Much love. Namaste. Your Matthias.